What's going on? My name's Roman and welcome to Roman Rose Collectible Coliseum. Now on tonight's episode, we have ourselves, gosh, how many Mezco figures is it now? Our 5th Mezco figure. This is Mezco 112 Collective Green Arrow. Now this is the DC Comics side of things. They also have some Star Trek, they have Space Ghost coming out, they have some Marvel coming out. Mezco is becoming pretty well rounded in the 1/12 scale game. As you can see here, we have a plastic little cover for the slip cover. I'm one of those people that likes to keep all of the packaging. There's some very small packaging that comes inside. That stuff I do not keep. It's outside packaging though I do like to keep. Here we have some very nice glamour shots of Green Arrow. You can see that it is a matte finish on the box, and everywhere that there is the logo is gloss, everywhere else is still matte. Very nice. One of the things you notice is that the hood is up and down. The hood does have a wire in it. Wire in the hood, no wire in the capes for these figures. Come on, Mezco. Mezco Toys. 112 Collective. Let's go ahead and slip the slipcover off and get into this figure. Slipcover, all white on the inside. I'm going to go ahead and set that down. I want to keep that nice and neat because I do love me some slipcover. So this is the Green Arrow. Same packaging that was displayed on the outside before, but now we have a different front, and the back is the same as the slipcover back. This has magnets on the side, as do most or all of the Mezco products, as far as I know. And it just clicks on like that. Take the magnet off and expose the artwork that comes inside, which is unique to each figure. This is the only real artwork that I've seen. I thought they would just rethrow the GA logo from the front on the inside like they did with like Batman and Superman, but that was not the case. They went the extra mile. Here is Green Arrow. One of the arrows is kind of falling out. Here you see many accessories, and we're going to take a closer look once we get it out of the box. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to open it from the bottom, and I can't remember which side. I always open my figures first, inspect them, make sure everything's all good. Last thing I want is to do a review and then find out my figure is broken or is missing something, which has not been the case with Mezco yet. So let's go ahead and take this out of the package. Boom! The goods. The reason why we're here. The Green Arrow. So taking a look at it, we have the dual layered packaging on the back that contains the flight stand arm and the bag. 2 layers there. We can go ahead and take that away because we'll talk about that later. But looking at this main packaging, it's very lightweight. Once you take that bottom part out, it's very flimsy, so I think that this could break. Be careful. I would definitely want to save this packaging. Quick overview. Besides the bag and the flight stand arm, here's the flight stand. There's a peg that comes in it. You can take the peg out. There's a set of 6 arrows that go in the quiver. They are non-removable. Regular arrow, kryptonite arrow, triple arrow, bow, grappling hook arrow open, grappling hook arrow closed, green arrow. There's a knife. There's a set of fisted hands that come on him. There's left-handed arrow hands, there's right-handed arrow hands, and then there's accessory holding hands. We have 5 pairs of hands total. There's also some weird letting go pointing hands. They're really odd. I'll show you them here in a second. Let's go ahead and open this figure up. Usually it comes with more plastic, but I have already opened this. I've already taken a look at it. I've already played with it. I've already loved it. I can't wait to open my Mezcos. I know a lot of times you might be thinking, oh, he does the video first. I don't want to fool you. There have been some reviews that I did the video first on, and the figure turned out to be not as great, because as time went on, I learned some things after posing it and trying to take pictures with it and trying to display it, and now the philosophy is that I want to bring you those important things first, every time. So, really quick, I'm going to run through the hands. Actually, let's move this guy off to the side. He's not messing with our camera. Okay, so the first set of hands, actually these are 2 right hands, I apologize. That's the knife holding hand. The knife is very small. You can see where it would go in. There's good texturing on the top of the knuckle of the glove. It's a very nice glove. This right hand doesn't have anything that goes in it. I think it's like just kind of looking like a detonation switch kind of thing. Not entirely sure what the deal is. Like he has exploding arrows or something. Those were 2 right hands. Let me figure out where I have the 2 left hands at. This is a right and left combination of holding the bow with the right hand and pulling the string back with the left hand, or drawing like this. That's what that combination is. On his hands right now, he has the opposite-handed combination of that. Let's go ahead and look at the weird hands, I suppose. And you know what? It does look like he comes with 2 left hands on that one. So I have to double check to make sure that that's not like an error or anything. Here's the odd letting go hands. Again, an open hand. A releasing hand on the left side, a releasing hand on the right side, same thing. I'm not sure what they're for, but that's okay. A grabbing and open palm hand, every figure needs that. We have the double fists. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the double right-handed pair, which I so need to check up on. 2 right hands like that, I'm not sure if they're supposed to come like that. That's the second pair of hands. Third pair of hands is the right-handed bow shooter. Like that. These strings, or these fingers are drawing back. The arrow fits between the fingers. This hand's holding the bow. That's the third set of hands. The fourth set of hands is the opposite side, where the left hand's holding the bow and the right hand's drawing back. That's the fourth set of hands. And the fifth set of hands are just these fists, which this is a really good look at the texture on top. And then it's kind of like a metallic matte finish, and then back to texture along the fingers. So you get 2 fisted hands. Very nice. They come on and off very easily, not too easily. The peg is in the wrist. I appreciate that, because when the peg is in the hand, it scares me a lot. Don't like that in the least bit. Let's go ahead and look at some of the accessories. Again, here's this little teeny tiny knife. Serrated edges on top. Looks really nice. That has a place on Oliver or Green Arrow's body. We'll look at that in a second. Here we have 6 arrows for the quiver. And each arrow has sculpting on the feathers. Very nice. And they even have the little area where you can knock or notch your arrow. I can't remember what it's called. Right there at the tip. Very nice. Those all go in the quiver, and there's room for even more arrows than that. Very cool accessory. The next arrow is just a regular arrow. Very typical. This is literally what we call an arrowhead. Normal arrow. Sculpting. So far we had 6 arrows in the quill. We had 1 arrow loose. Here's the grappling hook arrow closed. You can see some paint is there on the shaft of the arrow. More sculpting on the feathers. That's our 8th arrow. Our 9th arrow is grappling hook open. You can see there's some teeth on the back end of that, so really cool. Lots of detail through and through. Our 10th arrow is the kryptonite arrow. And it seems as if the back of this is also translucent just a little bit. It looks different than the rest of them. That could possibly be just to see what arrow it is just from the quiver, because you can't actually see the arrows when they're in the quiver. So there is the kryptonite arrow. That's arrow number 10. And then we have these triple arrows here that are all together. And they're all connected at the feathers. So you can see there we have some bend. I don't want to bend it too far. But they're all connected here at the feather. So very cool. Triple arrow, get that one on the bow, very nice. They're all pointed a little bit sideways. I don't mind, but I would like them if they were all kind of lined up a little better. So far we had these as the accessories. 3 arrows, 6 arrows, regular arrow, grappling hook closed, grappling hook open, and then kryptonite arrow. We have the little teeny tiny knife. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs of hands here, and then 2 pairs of hands that are actually on him. Now we've already looked at the flight stand. Here's the bow, so let's go take a really good look at the bow. You can see it's kind of a more emerald green, like a deeper, greener green, and then this is kind of like a more pale green. 2 different colors on there. The string did fall off. I had to retie it. I was launching arrows, and that happened. There really is one way to do this. You don't want to put the arrows on this right side. You want to put them here on the left side where you see kind of those grooves. So the arrow's going to go on that side, pull back, boom. Got them. Bow, really nice. Time for the man of the hour, 11 minutes in. Let's go ahead and take a look at the green arrow. Let's go ahead and drop this down. As well as the green arrow, I'm also going to take out the logo stand, flight stand base. Stand base, here it is. There's a GA, I don't know if you can see it. G is on the first half, A is on the second half. We're going to take a closer look at that here in a second on Roman Rose Collectible Coliseum. Plastic Avalanche. Alright, let's go ahead, bring it on down right here, and take a closer look at Green Arrow. Okay, so this is just the peg, and the peg is very simple. It goes on the bottom of the foot. Whoa, sorry about that. The peg is very simple. It just goes right here in the bottom of the foot. Nice and easy. Can go on either one. You just push down, apply some force, and you got yourself a green arrow on the stand. Yes, you do. Alright, let's keep looking at this guy. So we have this gaggle of accessories here in the background, but the accessory that I want to use the most is the flight stand. Now here you have the quiver, which has a couple different paints on it. It has metallic paint right there, and then that kind of more pale green. Same thing with the knife sheath. There's a little knife sheath right there on the back of his leather straps. Here we have these canisters, 3 on each side. I've read somewhere that those were beer. Could be explosives, I don't know. The jacket actually has a functional zipper, which is going to be interesting to see. There it is under there. You pull it down, pull it all the way up. The leather straps do not have functional buckles, so the leather straps will indeed keep on the jacket from being taken off completely. As you can see, it's a faux leather, not real leather. The wiring starts right here. The wire runs all the way up to the side. That way you can bend the hood any way that you would like. You could pinch it, you can round it off, you can even bring it over the top of his head and hide him in that hood. Very nice. I like the head sculpt quite a bit. I like the hair. It's kind of messy, it's long. The paint application is really nice. I like the mask, I like the goatee beard. I think the head sculpt is really nice. There's more left to right motion on this figure than there is front to back. Front to back, it's pretty decent. I'd give it a B+. The only reason it doesn't have an A is because there's the quiver and then this thing. It's in the way. It could keep going back more, but it cannot because we don't want to break anything. As well, look, this figure is really nice. Let's start from the bottom up. I took the peg out when I took it out, so let's go ahead and take that peg out of there. We're going to put the peg back here with the rest of the accessories. We're going to go ahead and bust out that flight stand and the Ziploc bag from the packaging. So here we go. Here's the 2 layers of packaging from the bottom. Take that off. Flight stand is right there, and then your Mezco bag is right here on this side. They changed the placement of the Mezco bag on later figures. I know Green Arrow was one of the earlier ones, but they did change the placement on that bag. So let's go ahead and plug in the flight stand. There we have a joint here. This will rotate all the way around. Joint there. Joint there. This comes off. This also swivels any way you want it to go, and these can be extended both to the left, to the right, as well as center. And again, you can turn them like this. So the combinations you can get with this arm are various. I mean, there's a lot that you can do with it. Let's go ahead, plug this arm in, because I think Green Arrow is someone who needs a dynamic light stand. Snug fit. Bring that arm over, and if you want your characters to be down, you can kind of put it like this. You can loosen or tighten these, depending on what you want or need. There are screws at each one of these little junctions. Feel free to tighten or loosen them as you please. So let's go ahead, keep looking at the figure. Let's look at some articulation and just go over the figure as a whole. Here's all the stuff. We have our little Mezco bag, very expensive plastic baggie, Mezco 112 Collective. You can put your name on it or write what the character's supposed to be. In case you have so many Mezcos, you can't tell. Really quick, the ankle articulation overall was a little disappointing. I have gotten it to go all the way around, but that's after I've really forced it front to back. There's virtually none. And then left to right, virtually none. Left to right on this one, a little more. Front to back on this one, actually a lot more on the left side, but really it's just neutral to front, like a hyperextension. This one also a tough time on the rotation. You see it goes sideways, all the way sideways. I don't think I'm going to need it to go in or out any more than that unless I feel like he's dying or I'm going to break his leg. But that's not going to happen. So ankle pivot is by far the most disappointing aspect of this figure. The paint job and the sculpt on this figure are by far the most impressive aspect. As you can see, the shin guard are all beat up on both sides. They're very thick riveted. They don't feel cheap at all. The buckles on the back, you have dark green, brown, and gold, so that's multi-tone. The black tights look really good. I think you can see some skin tone under there. There is the double jointed knee as always, which allows you some backwards motion as well as some good forward range as well. Very acrobatic. I think Arrow is a good combination of acrobatic and just straight up brute and fighting. He's not the biggest character, but he does his fair share of hand-to-hand combat. He's all hand-to-hand, minus the Arrow. You know, no superpowers for this guy. I didn't think I was going to like this at all. I don't watch Arrow. I do watch The Flash. I'm not a huge Arrow fan. I am a big DC fan, and I liked this Mezco a lot. I do like it a lot. I like it right now. Let's look at the arms. Oh, I'm sorry. There is hip movement. You get side to side. It looks like there's a ball joint in there. It feels like there's a ball joint in there. Between that double jointed leg or double jointed knee, you do get some rotation here in this front shin guard, which is really nice. Good for posing. There you can see it looks very, very much like a person in distress when you break it all up like that and you twist them in different directions. But the figure can handle it. I feel like there's enough give in the material to bend any way I want. I think there's a loose amount of material on here, and I don't feel like it's going to break. A lot of times you do the splits, you feel like you're going to rip it up the seam. That's not the case for this figure. The jacket is really nice. The spandex, the black spandex are all throughout the figure. There is the jacket, there's the leather. We have here the arm that goes up and down right there. There is a ball joint in there, but it does not go further down than this due to the leather, so you can't get the arms further down to the sides. There's not a more relaxed pose. It is just this. Even with the bicep swivel, you can turn them out. Try dropping them. You're just not going to go down at the shoulder. There are double jointed elbows. So there's this joint here. And then that secondary joint, which doesn't go up very far because, again, of the forearm armor. So the forearm armor, again, has gashes all over it, as well as the shin armor. These are the drawing the bow and firing set. Again, pulling back like that, bow holding out here. Head would be this way. Really good articulation. There is hip and ab crunch, hip movement. The jacket and the leather really snap it back into place, so it feels as if there is none. That is not true. There is some. There is a lot. The arms, really good articulation. The hands, again. A little peg just like that in the wrist. Very helpful to have the peg in the wrist. The detail, again, on the wrist, just very, very nice. You see up close. This figure is gorgeous. Just a great sculpt. A lot of detail. I didn't think I was going to like this, but it fits the DC MO of my collection. And it's Mezco, man. When you got the Mezco itch, you look at what's out there, and let me tell you, I'm not disappointed at all with this figure. I'd seen it for sale before, and I wasn't sure, and someone had it, and I should have bought it when I saw it the first time. As you can see, we're trying to get the hand back in. Some wiggle and push. There it goes, nice and easy. I've had a lot more trouble with the DC Icons line as far as switching the hands goes. But let's go ahead and put a bow and arrow in Arrow's hand. Now, one of the things that you can do with him is some very dynamic poses because of the flight stance. Here's what I want to do. I want to kind of turn him a little bit, turn his body, I want to turn his head. Have it up like that to the side. We're going to do some sliding action. Boom. Leg sliding forward quite a bit. We're going to have the arrow or the bow in the hand here. Then we're going to have the drawback happening here, just like this. He's going to be sliding like some Matrix-esque type pose like this. He's going to be kind of flat. All right, so let's go ahead and hook him up with some arrows in the quiver. I'm going to pull the hood up just so we can get some arrows in. There is a wire that goes around the crest and then, or I'm sorry, up the crest right here. There's a wire right here that you can bend. It's kind of hard to show you that there is a wire here, but it is. It runs right up here, and now you can kind of see it, how it protrudes. There's nothing really that shows you that it's there other than just some pinching movements. But there's a wire that goes around the hood, there's a wire that goes up the crest of the hood. So let's go ahead and put some arrows in the quiver. You can kind of match it up on the outside, see where it's supposed to fit. Right there, it just slides in, doesn't connect in, it's not magnetized, there's not like a set place for it, it wiggles back and forth. But you can always fit more arrows here on this side. So let's say we want to put the grappler arrow and the regular arrow and the kryptonite arrow. Oh, you know what? I almost forgot. Let's put the knife in the sheath. Pushed it in, and it is not falling out, guys. This thing is good to go. You can see it right there. There's the handle. Boom! Come at me, bro. Mini knife in the bottom of the back. Yeah, so we got the hood up. We got the arrows in, the quiver. Let's fix the hood a little bit. Let's kind of mess with it. Actually, let's take the hood down. I do like the hood, but I want to learn how to pose it up a little better. Kind of trying to learn the dynamics of the hood. I do understand he's falling this way, so I want it kind of draping on that side. Let's go ahead and put this bow in his hand, which getting the accessories in can always be a challenge the first few times. You have to kind of figure out the right angle to do it at, how not to mess with any of the fingers. So boom, perfect. That went in really easily. And we're going to have him drawing an arrow. So we're going to have him drawing the kryptonite arrow just like this. Turn it sideways, place it right there. Boom! Now we have Oliver Queen, also known as Green Arrow, drawing the kryptonite arrow, getting ready to presumably shoot Superman. Place him like this. Now we can turn the stand a little sideways. Open up those arms. Place him right here and clamp. Okay, I did not think that I was going to like this figure. I was wrong. This figure makes me want to give watching Arrow a shot. As you can see as I'm moving it, the weight of the figure itself is adjusting the arm. And this guy's kind of tricky because he has a lot of stuff going on back here, so I don't want to necessarily smush it or damage any of it. There we go. So here we have Mezco Green Arrow all posed up. What do you think here on Roman Rose Collectible Coliseum? Some separation there. Yeah, here he is. A really fun figure. You can see that the joints were exposed, but was that ever something that you were worried about? with no cloth being on the arm. You can see he's drawing the arrow perfectly. And we tilt it up. I mean, it still stays in position. It looks good even if it was standing straight up. And we can do that. All we have to do is twist that section right there, and guess what? We got ourselves a running, jumping arrow. It looks really good. You can see that the feet aren't even completely on the ground. Whoa. I don't normally use the zoom, so... Look, only the toe is touching. What a beautiful figure. Okay, not using the zoom anymore. So, that was Green Arrow Mezco here on Roman Rose Collectible Coliseum. I know what I thought, but what did you think? I love this figure. Definitely. I told you I'd consider everything Mezco does first before doing anything else, and that's what happened in this instance. I was in the market for a figure, and I took a look at some Mezco reviews, and I realized that Green Arrow was the real deal Holyfield. And look at him drawing the kryptonite arrow out of his quiver, ready to fire. This thing's going to be so much fun to pose with Batman, Superman, Professor Zoom, and the Flash. When Shazam gets here, we're almost going to have a Justice League, so that's actually going to be really exciting. Let me know what you think in the comments. What kind of videos would you like to see in the future? I think I have some pop videos coming up. I'm not sure. I will let you know, but I can't wait to get this out to you, published and on YouTube, ready for you to see, because I love me some Mezco here on Roman Rose Collectible Coliseum. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. Thanks for the likes, the comments, the subscriptions. And remember, as always, peace, love, and keep on collecting.